Good evening. Good morning.
Hi, how you doing? I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Thanks so much for taking the time, and congratulations on this absolutely amazing series. One of those so addictive. I was just absolutely glued from the beginning to the end. Maybe for people who don't know anything about it, though, you could just kick off with a brief intro. What can people expect from The Gathering?
I think The Gathering it's a thriller set in Merseyside that follows an incident, an attack on a young girl that may or may not be on this Zoom. I don't know I guess that's kind of out there, isn't it? And I guess it then explores, I guess, a kind of who done it and why done it. But set against the backdrop of elite level gymnastics and then the more free spirited world of parkour. And our main protagonist, who also might be in this Zoom, straddles that fine line between the two.
And I mean, I think the thing I love most about the series is it's obviously wrapped in sort of the trappings of this thriller, the mystery of it all, and it very cleverly kind of unravels in that respect. But it's almost a bit of a Trojan horse in a way, because yes, you're on the edge of your seat wondering what's going to happen, but there's also all these fantastic characters, all from very diverse backgrounds. It's dealing with some very contemporary issues about young people growing up and parenting and class and privilege. So when you first picked up that script, what really drew you in and made you excited to jump on board?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I received the script was, I guess, when I was auditioning, and I was so excited by it. I mean, specifically, actually, Warren's on the Zoom, but it was Kelly and Paul's relationship. I mean, it felt really real and really moving, and also like exciting as well. I think also the way Helen, our writer, had written a lot of it was written, especially like Kelly's lines in like the Scouse dialect, which was, I'd never seen that before, and it felt more, I felt like I could freely like read it and stuff. But I think there's so many different character storylines that was exciting as well. But yeah, and it just felt exciting, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, if I'm being honest with you. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I remember thinking, I just know even if I'm not part of this, it's going to be a brilliant production and story, several storylines within it. Yeah, passionate about it.
And for you, Warren, what did you like about the script?
Yeah, I mean, I thought your description was much better than mine. I should try and write that down and use that to be talking about. But yeah, just the script felt so very real, and really, really authentic. I knew that world. I knew these characters, or some of these characters. And yeah, it just got hold of me straight away. It felt real. Helen's writing was brilliant. The fact that it was World Productions as well, that Gareth as well, I hadn't worked with, but I'd had friends that worked with him and I heard really, really great stuff about him. And I just felt, I think that there's quite a lot of shows that are a kind of coming of age, young people's drama, which, we have seen, and it kind of, there is an essence of that to it. But there was something about this that I've really felt was like a fresh take on that. It was a newer world. It was just something that we hadn't, that kind of, we know that, and hopefully we all identify with these characters, but there was something in it that I felt I hadn't seen before, and I guess it's certainly for the character as well, as you start aging and start then playing characters with kids, and I've played characters with kids, but this was again was different, just in this his background, the fact that he's a single father, a little bit ill-tempered, not able to control his temper, that can possibly get him into trouble a bit further down the line. Just, yeah, obviously the script is the first thing that you get, and the script just blew me away. So then, yeah, to get to be a part of that world, and like you say, you never know until you start shooting it. But from the starting point, you think this is great, and I guess you still don't know. But while you're shooting it and you're having that experience, and working with Eva was brilliant, and I thought all the other young actors in it, that some I hadn't. A lot of them, that this is going to be kind of a massive thing for them, I think. And I'm really excited for the world to see these youngsters, especially this one over there on my left of the screen.
And coming to each of your characters, I mean, Eva, I mean, what a gift for a first role playing Kelly. I mean, she's just got such a lust for life. And, that really comes off the screen. You just always feel like you're in her corner. But, she does have, a lot of things to face, not only losing her mum and sort of the emotional aspects of that, but then kind of juggling, wanting to be part of this elite gymnastic world, from a working class background, and you feel all those tensions, and how it's playing out with Jessica and Jessica's mum. So how did you kind of approach a character, I guess, from the emotional perspective, but also having to kind of pull off the sort of elite world of gymnastics and parkour aspects too?
To be fair, I actually discovered a lot when I was like doing the process of filming. Like, things kind of come up and you discover different things that I was discovering about Kelly, which I guess you do in life anyway. But the thing is, I always admired Kelly because she was, she's someone who wears a heart on her sleeve. She's so bold and she's just, she's so outwardly Kelly. And I think I really admired that. And I think a lot of, you're saying there about like the emotional side of her, and as beautiful as Kelly was to play, she was equally heartbreaking. She's such a young, at the end of the day, she's such a young person. She's a teenager, and all these kind of responsibilities that she has, for me, I think it's way too much for a person at that age, and I think that's, I guess, reflective of young people today and so on. But she lost her mum and she's battling these two. It's like, how do you balance these two worlds? You know what I mean? Because really her heart lies with parkour, but the kind of her heart does lie with parkour, but it's like she doesn't want to let her dad down. But I found with Kelly, like, she has this underlying fear of losing people, and that's obviously stemmed from losing her mom. And I think that's why that's why she can be defensive, and that's so real. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't want to lose Adam, she doesn't want to lose her dad, she doesn't want to lose anyone. But I do admire she also just she does care, but sometimes it's she's quite free and stuff. But I think she's a force. I think she's great. Yeah.
Were there any particularly hard scenes? I don't know how much was stunt double, how much was you? I mean, even the bit where she's like at the library doing all those backflips and stuff, did you have a go at any of that? I didn't want to break any bones, I suppose.
No, I tell you, I had a good go, but I did have some brilliant stunt doubles. I had a parkour double, Rachel Goff, and she's an amazing. She's just like a professional parkour athlete, and she was around my age as well. And I had an amazing tumbling gymnast double as well, Lily Jenkins. And they were just so effortless with it. I just thought sometimes, I reckon I could do that, and I really, really couldn't. But we did like a few weeks training in Airborne Academy in Liverpool. So we were just kind of flinging. Me and some of the cast were mainly parkour people, and Sadie Soberall, who plays Jessica. So we had a taste of that, but it was kind of mainly trying to make it look as realistic as possible, and then kind of letting the doubles do it. But I do a little bit in the show. I jump over a gate at one point, which I was rather proud of. So, yeah.
For you, Warren, as well, I mean, you were doing professional Thai boxing, is that right? So you definitely had a bit of an insight into this world, but then obviously having to play Kelly's father, and like he, you can tell that it's always coming from a good place what he's doing. He loves his kids so much, but as you mentioned, does have a problem with his temper, and he's very much conflicted a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, from kind of the age of 15 to 25, I got into Thai boxing, and that took over my life, and then kind of went professional and traveled the world doing it. So I could certainly identify with that world of, yes, it's a different discipline, but that world of elite sport, and also having seen different parents, and my parents were really supportive of it and not pushing. It was something that I went on my own to do at 15, but throughout the course of that, and teaching youngsters myself throughout that process, there was all sorts of different dynamics of parents that were, that fine line between supportive and pushy, where some kids don't want to do it. And I think that it looks into this, kind of explores that, and then also, as you mentioned earlier, whether class and socioeconomic status plays a part also in that. But I think, I love the character. He's a working class guy that I could identify with, but he's also in an extraordinary situation that he's raising 2 kids on his own, and he's trying to do his best, and he's very protective of his family, and he wants the best for them, and potentially is going to, I don't know what's the spoiler, potentially that short temper could maybe get him in trouble further down the line.